We have here the brand new BMC Teammachine R LTD in a size 56. Pedals, cages, and garment mount here at 7.27 kilos. And in pounds, 16 pounds on the money. Stay tuned after the video where your free buy sent us on those DT Swiss arc wheels right there. Hey, how's it going, everyone? GC Performance here, back with another video, and today I have for you guys a very good looking bicycle. This is the 2024 BMC Teammachine R in a size 56 and the LTD 01 edition. This bicycle retails for $15,000, and as you guys saw, weighed right at 16 pounds with pedals, cages, and the garment mount out front. And this is BMC's new claim to fame, that this is not just their aero bike, this is their everything bike. This is their aero bike on steroids. They can compete and climb in the mountains, and we're starting to see more and more people make these ridiculously light climbing bikes with aero qualities that almost compete against and rival against aero dedicated bicycles. So the Teammachine R is going to be replacing their old Time Machine, their road bike. And the R just stands for basically race on this bicycle. So they will still continue to put out the Teammachine SLR, but they're going to be their Teammachine R, which is their flat out all race bike. Their cheapest model, I believe, will be $8,000 as of right now. And this is going to be their top tier carbon that they make in it. And it has a Ultegra group set on there. But the bicycle of this bike right here really speaks to me. I love this bicycle. I think it looks absolutely insane for a modern day aero or everything road bike, but it does look like a classic aero road bike. You have the very deep elongated head tube for that carbon fiber to make it aerodynamic. You have the nice clean lines. It's a very sleek and thin up here, but it also has some curvature to the top tube as well. You have the down tube that is shaped and kind of butted out to give it some more aerodynamic presence with their own proprietary water bottle cages. A nice massive wide bottom bracket down here as well to help with stiffness, but also to create some of this, to fill this void of this triangle space right here to make it more aerodynamic. A nice tucked in rear wheel, drop seat stays, the nice D-shaped seat post, a nice out flared seat entry point as well. And then the talking point of this bicycle as well is the front fork. This massive, everyone likes to call it their mountain bike fork. It looks very badass. The idea behind this bicycle fork, what the rep told me, is that he said that you can make a bicycle as aero as you want inside a wind tunnel. Once you put a person on there, it starts to get a little bit iffy. Same with the wheel situation. If you put a bicycle fork as close as you can to the wheel, the bicycle will come out pretty aerodynamic. But once you have a wheel where the air hits, the wind tunnel hits, and then it comes to a fork, it's going to get dirty air. So they want to kind of match this fork on here to where the rider's leg will be at. So once this, no matter what wheel and tire configuration you put onto this bicycle, the fork would be aerodynamic just with the rider on top of it as well. So the idea is that the wind is going to hit here, and it's going to match where the person's leg is at and create a much more thinner slipstream of air and make it much more aerodynamic than the normal fork. Now again, it looks completely different. They were teamed up with Red Bull as well to go ahead and help create this bicycle, which BMC did for their time trial bike as well. But I will say this, it looks different, and also it's very, very stiff. I got to ride it around, which is a really badass bike. But I'm here for it. I think that you need more of this in the bicycle industry. For the longest time, the Tarmac SL7 is what everyone made their bicycles after, and everything kind of looks plain, simple, and cookie cutter. This looks different. This looks a little bit much more bolder, and they did a really good job. So I will go over this whole bicycle, talk about the features on this bike, and talk about everything that comes spec on this exact model, because this model is being sold just like this for 15 grand. So starting off with their cockpit. This is their ICS, their integrated cockpit system that they changed now. This is a race system that's going to come standard on all of the Teammachine Rs except for the bottom tier one. This is what BMC has been doing, and they're really going off the handlebar width market. And this is a really good test as well. Up top here on the hoods, it's a 36 centimeter bar with a 42 flare out. And this will come standard on pretty much all their race bikes. You're also seeing their BMC gravel bikes doing this. But just, you put two guys side by side and you put them for a long period of time, the guy with more narrower handlebars will get a better aero reading than a wider handlebar. You're basically creating more drag. So they're trying to create a more natural aerodynamic position without having to have the rider do too much. And this is a position that does not usually take that much control from the rider. You're still in a relaxed position. You have your hands on the shifters, on the brakes. You're meant to be in this position comfortably. So they feel that if you can stand in a 36 centimeter position, that you'll be faster overall, and you will have to use less wattage to maintain top end speed. And they give you the 42s to help with sprints, to help with descents, to help in those sticky situations where you want to have a little bit more control. You still have that natural width of 42 right there for a rider to be on. So their integrated cockpit system, I think, is one of the best out there. I do like the flare out a lot. You're seeing Envy ride that as well. Pagac's riding an Envy bar. That's a 36 with a flare on there. I think that's going to be the way of the future. I think you're going to see more and more brands go after this kind of smaller uppers with a flare out drops on here as well. You have their own proprietary mounts, and then BMC always does it so well where their cockpit matches the top tube of the bicycle to make it look very clean. And you'll see some other ones come in with a red version of this as well. You can see here you have the Teammachine R logo, and then you have their own breakaway spacers that you can go ahead and remove it. Going down here to the bottom, you have the BMC logo right here. The bicycle does come equipped with the SRAM Red 12-speed axis group set, 12 gears in the rear, 2 in the front, and it's a wireless system with 2 hydraulic disc brake lines on here. Going down to the front fork, the bicycle can only take up to a 700 by 30C tire. I know everyone thinks that this front fork is help with tire clearance, but it has really nothing to do with that. This is just meant to go ahead and add better aerodynamics on there. But 700 by 30C tire clearance is what you're seeing a lot of these aero bikes go after nowadays. The day of the 32s and the 33s, you'll probably still see those on like the endurance bikes or the all-purpose bikes. But if you're making a race bike that's a flat-out aero machine, there's really no need for that 32. At some point, that wider tire is going to be not negligent, but it's going to negate the effects of speed. You're going to be working against that tire. You're basically going to shave after weights. You're going to look for a weight weenie option, but you're throwing a 1-pound tire on there. So a 30C tire is more than enough than what you need. And I believe this bicycle even comes spec'd with a 700 by 26C tire. So perfect roads, perfect conditions, the skinnier tire would usually always prevail. For the wheels that come stock on this bicycle, it's a DT Swiss Arc 1100. They come with bladed spokes and also their own DT Swiss 180 hub with ceramic bearings inside of there. They do have on here a Pirelli P0 Race and the SL version, and they are tubed right now. So you can even make this bike lighter if you want to go to a TPU tube, to a tubeless setup. You can definitely shave down some pounds on here. Put a different wheel set if you wanted to, if you build up a custom frame module. There are ways to get this bicycle even lighter than what it is before. Going over to the rotor on here, we have a 160mm front rotor on here with, I believe what this is, their own proprietary disc brake mounts for these forks. I think BMC has their own because inside the box or the bags, they only put this mount on here. So I'm almost positive you can't run a 140 on the front of here. But let me know down in the comment section if you can. You have the beautiful BMC logo going all the way down, kind of with those racing stripes, which looks really cool. And then, like I said, that head tube, it just looks like, it literally looks like a TT bike or a tri bike. It looks fast. It looks really cool. I like to see the carbon there. Going down to the bottom bracket, they stuck with their press fit BB. So this is a BB86 SRAM dub bottom bracket in a press fit version. They really seem to have no trouble with it. They said as long as they can keep on putting out great frames and manufacturing great frames with a round hole in there, there should be no issue. And I've worked with Scott with this in the past for long periods of times, and there is very little to no issues on there. You might get one every once in a while, but all you have to do is just put in a nice bottom bracket, maybe a machined alloy one, maybe some retaining compound, whatever you need to do in there, you can do that option on there, which is nice. BMC is always known for giving you their own proprietary water balls to fit on here, or the cages fit nicer. So these do come with the bicycle, and they have this nice little cutout section, so it looks very clean. But you can notice something when you stand over the bicycle, how thin the lines on here. This is where they shave down a lot of the weight on here. It's very nice. Going to the crank on here, it's a 172.5 crank arm with a 4835 chain ring and a cork power meter. It does have these look pedals, which you can also run a lighter look pedal on there. SRAM Red front derailleur, SRAM Red 12-speed chain as well, and then we have a 1026 down there, because why wouldn't you in South Florida? This is what this bicycle is meant for, flat and speed. SRAM Red rear derailleur with their own 2 batteries that you can basically take off and put on there. If you did want to put on your own cage on this bicycle, you can. It just doesn't look as good with their BMC. I mean, look at the M on here. Literally, it's meant to work with this bicycle very nicely. You got the UCI logo right there. You have also their all the information right here. 01 LTD, a size 56, which is nice. And then for the rear wheel, it's the exact same as the front. The DT Swiss Arc 1100 with their Pirelli P0 SL tires and a 700 by 26C with a DT Swiss 180 hub on here. On these new Teammachine Rs, they do have a new style of clamping. The seat wedge is in the rear of the bicycle, and it's done with these 2 torques back here, which look to be a T15 or a T20. I'm sorry, an Allen key, which looks to be either a 3 or a 4 mil. And then they have their own proprietary BMC seat post as well for more aerodynamics. The rear rotor is a 160mm rear rotor, center lock, and then what they said here as well, they said the way that they were able to cut down a lot of the weight on this bicycle was all the small things. The steer tube plug, the through axles, the parts for the disc brake calipers, the water bottle bolts. They really were able to weigh down the derailleur hanger. They were really able to weigh down a lot of the weight by making those much more thinner, much more lighter. And so that's why they got this bicycle down to a full-on aero bike that's meant to rival like the Madones and all the other bikes out there to this kind of weight. You can see the clearance on here, man. It's crazy. It's like everything about this bicycle is just meant to go fast. And then for the saddle as well is the Physique Argo and the carbon fiber version. I got to ride this carbon fiber saddle on the Van Rizzle. I absolutely loved it. It had a nice wide support system right here that gave me solid support for my sit bones, but a nice cutout here whenever you want to go down and be aggressive on the bicycle and put down some power, you felt that as well. So very, very nice. But this is the BMC Teammachine R01 LTD. This bicycle is $15,000. It's a size 56, and as you guys saw, it weighed in at 16 pounds. Very excited to get one of these. This is my dilemma. Either go with a BMC Teammachine R module or Tarmac S8 frame set, which I'm still struggling to find. This bicycle is not our stores. This is the reps that brought it by for a show bike. I'm going to beg and plead with them to try and get myself to ride on this bicycle. I just got to ride around the block, but I would love to do a group on this bike because it just screams fast. And we'll see what happens here. But thank you guys again so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And hopefully you guys enjoy. Here comes a free buy sound test on these DT Swiss ARC 1100s with a DT Swiss 180 hub on the BMC Teammachine R bicycle. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.